Hey there, welcome back. If you're new to my channel, my name is Katie and this is Louisiana Cooking and Living. And today we're just gonna get some kitchen projects done. I wanna get some meat marinating. I have a lot of garlic in my fridge I need to get in the freezer. I wanna try my hand at some sourdough, so we're gonna start some sourdough starter together. And then also my chickens are missing some green veggies. So we're gonna get some lentils sprouted so we can start feeding them as treats for the chickens. And I think that's all we're gonna get done right now. I'm not sure. We'll see what happens as we go along. So let's go ahead and get started. We're gonna start with our meat marinades. We're gonna get 2 different chicken marinades, get in the freezer, so we have meat ready to throw on the grill anytime we need some. And so let's just get started with those. Actually, I think I'm gonna go ahead and get my garlic processed so that we can get that freezing while we're working on the meat marinades. And I need some of this garlic for the meat, so this will work out perfectly. So I buy these bulk 3-pound bags of organic garlic from Costco that's already peeled, and it's about $9–10 a bag, and it's good for fresh eating. And I use it for a little while just fresh, and then I go ahead and process the rest of it. And what I do is I don't like to leave on the little root end. Some people don't mind that. I cut that off, throw it in the food processor, grind it up really good, and then I use my cookie scoop and portion it out, lay it out on the sheet pan, and then freeze it. And then you have fresh garlic in the freezer at all times. Once it's frozen, throw all those into a Ziploc bag and you're ready to go. I also throw it in the freeze dryer after I grind it up, and then I make garlic powder out of that. But today I need some in the freezer for fresh eating, and I've got plenty of garlic powder on my shelf. So this is what we're doing today, is getting this done out of my fridge and into the freezer. So I'm gonna go ahead and get all these ready to go, and then we'll process them in the food processor. All right, so I have my first little batch of it. I got a lot more to go in my Ziploc here, but I wanted to go ahead and get some going in the freezer. So I'm just gonna take my little cookie scoop here. We're just gonna make little garlic pucks like this. We're just gonna line our cookie sheets and get these in the freezer. If you wanted to put some olive oil in here, if this is, if you're gonna always use olive oil with your garlic, or do some of it with olive oil, that's an option too. We're just gonna portion out our garlic and get this in the freezer. So I'm gonna keep going with this. Okay, so this is how much we got. And we're gonna get these in the freezer and get them freezing, and then we'll get our chicken marinating. I didn't quite use all the garlic because we will need some of the garlic in the marinades. Sorry, the dog is whining because my husband just left and he wants to go. So let's get these in the freezer and we'll get our chicken going. All right, we got our chicken going. What I'm gonna do real quick so we can get one of the marinades going is I have some dried chili doubles here, and I'm gonna put cover these with some hot water to get them softening. So we'll get that started. We'll work on our other chicken marinade, and then we'll come back to this one. So let me get these going with the hot water. So all I'm gonna do is just cut my stems off of these. If you wanna shake some of the seeds out, you can. I'm just gonna throw them in here because we're gonna put these back in the food processor. That's one of the reasons I want to get the garlic going first, because I'm going to use my food processor to make this marinade. And while there is garlic in the marinade, there's not all these chilies and spices in my garlic. So we did the garlic first, and then we'll get our marinade going. And these are kind of a spicy dried chili, so depending on how spicy you want it as to which chilies you want to use. These, I think, are cayennes that they dry. I think it's either a cayenne or a serrano. Oop. So it's a really spicy pepper. But you could use a chili ancho. What we're making is pollo asado is what this is. We're gonna be doing a jerk chicken and a pollo asado marinades. And this is for the asado. And we're gonna be doing kind of a double, triple recipe. So I'm trying to see how many peppers we need. This is probably enough here. All right, we get some hot water on these. And the hot water is just to soften them. We'll let them soak because we're gonna throw these in the food processor. All right, but we're gonna move over. This is for the pollo asado. We're gonna start with the jerk chicken first though. All right, we're gonna start with our liquid part of our marinade for the jerk chicken. I'm gonna triple this recipe. So I'm gonna need about 3/4 of a cup of oil. I'm using avocado oil here. To this we're gonna add, let's see, about 1.5 cups of coconut aminos. You could use soy sauce if you want, but I don't use soy sauce. This is a good substitute for soy sauce, so we're gonna use this. So 1.5 cups of this. I don't know if I should pop that little top off. It's coming out better. 1.5. We're going to use some of these same spices and seasonings and liquids in our other marinade also. So now we're going to need, let's see, 6 total teaspoons of brown sugar. All right. Next, we're going to add 6 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. Just get this one at Costco also. All right. Next, we're going to add, let's see, about 2 teaspoons total of cinnamon. And we're going to add about 1.5 teaspoons of the ginger. Next, we're going to add about 1.5 teaspoons of thyme. And then, let's see, a bunch of garlic, and then a couple of teaspoons of salt. Let me get some of this garlic. Put the rest of our garlic here. All right, let's crush this into our marinade. All right, let's get our chicken and our veggies in the bag, and then we'll pour marinades over that. Okay, so for our veggies, we have jalapenos and some scallions, green onions. I'm just gonna slice these jalapenos kind of on a thick slice. My grocery store that I went to today to get all this did not have habaneros, which is what typically you would put in here, because jerk food, Caribbean food, is kind of spicy. So we just have these jalapenos. So we're gonna slice these kind of thick. And then for the green onions or your scallions, I'm just gonna do, let's see, I have room on the cutting board for all this. I am leaving the seeds in. I'm just gonna do like a, let's cut these in half. Just kind of a inch long cut on the bias or the angle. You don't have to do it that way, but that's just what I'm gonna do today. Like that. So let me get the rest of these jalapenos cut up and then we will start bagging up our chicken. All right, I have my, we're gonna cook one of these tonight. So I'm putting those in a bowl and then I have my Ziplocs for my others that are gonna go in the freezer. I wrote on them that they are for jerk chicken. And I have chicken thighs and chicken tenders here, and we're just gonna divvy this up. If you want to trim off the excess fat on your chicken thighs, go ahead. We don't mind the chicken, the fat on there, because when we grill this, it cooks off mostly. So we're gonna put some chicken thighs in each one. Kind of trying to open them up so they can get some marinade on all surfaces. Got our tenders divided up. Wash my hands really good. Now let's divide our veggies. So we'll do like a third in each one. Our jalapenos. And then to this one, for tonight, I'm actually going to add a piece of salmon. It's from the freezer, but it'll marinate as it thaws. Wash my hands again. All right, let's divide this marinade up. Let's stir it up really good. In this marinade, you have the brightness from the apple cider vinegar. You have the warm spices with the cinnamon and the ginger and the fresh veggies. So good. So we're gonna squeeze all the air out of this that we can. Push it around so it gets all the surfaces. We're gonna lay it flat to freeze it. And I also wrote on my bags that this is jerk chicken. Give this a good stir. Get those veggies down in there with the chicken. We'll put this aside and we'll get everything ready to do our pollo asado. So this next marinade is going to come together in our food processor. So I'm not going to put all the liquid in here at first because I want the all the seasonings to get ground up in here. So all right, into our food processor we are going to put 10 garlic cloves. Well, I'm tripling this recipe. I guess I'll just put whatever I have left in my bag here. That's what I'll do. find my knife. So we have our garlic cloves in our food processor. We need 6 teaspoons of cumin because we're tripling this recipe. Let's see. I absolutely love the smell of cumin. All right, that was the last of that. Now we're gonna do some onion powder. I don't have any onion powder, but I have these chopped granulated-ish onion things. So we're gonna use these. We're doing 3 teaspoons of these. We're going to do 3 teaspoons of salt. We're going to add 3 teaspoons of black pepper. We're going to add 3 tablespoons of honey. We're going to add our chipotle peppers and adobo sauce. Chipotle peppers are smoked jalapenos. So we're just going to add this whole can in here. Let's see. Now we're going to add our soaked, softened chilies. Let's see, we'll put 1 of our liquids in here just to give it some oomph. We're going to put 1.5 cups of OJ. And then we'll add the rest of our liquid after we blend this up. Just want to go through and make sure I have everything so far that I want to put in here. I have my orange juice, I have my garlic, cumin, onion powder, salt, pepper, ancho chilies, or we did the chili darbles today, the chipotles, and the honey. So let's go ahead and give this a blend. It looks super yummy. Let's go ahead and the rest of our ingredients. So my recipe calls for lime juice, but I had some pineapple juice. I think I'm gonna use this pineapple juice instead of lime juice. But if you're doing lime, it's 2 tablespoons per recipe, so it'd be 6 tablespoons. So we're just gonna add this pineapple juice. I thought that sounded super yummy. And then we're gonna add 1.5 cups of our coconut aminos again, or you could use soy sauce. All right, looks like I'm gonna have to buy some more of that. We're at the end of it. A little bit left in the bottle. My food processor is full. I'll give this a quick little blend here, and then we will get our chicken marinating. All right, it's that easy. All right, I decided I wanted to add some red onions to our chicken as it's marinating. So we have our 3 bags here. I've marked them on the outside. They're asado. We'll fold the lids down on these. We'll divvy up our chicken and our onions, and then pour our marinade over them. Again, I have chicken thighs and chicken tenders. Not everybody likes thighs in my family. Some people prefer the tenders, some people prefer the thighs, so we're gonna just divvy up. These are all partially frozen when I bought them at the store today, but they will refreeze just fine. Again, we'll have 4 thighs per bag, and then however many tenders we can divvy up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so this one will get 3. This one will get 3. And this other one will get 4. All right, I'm gonna wash my hands really good from this chicken. All right, we're gonna divide up our onions. And let's pour our marinade over this carefully. Again, we're going to zip it. Squeeze as much air out as we possibly can, and then kind of smoosh all that marinade around in there. All right, so the last 2 projects we have are sprouting some lentils for our chickens. This is a 4-day project, but we're gonna go ahead and get it started today. I just have this little bag of lentils. I get these like I think in the Hispanic section, they're like $1 for a bag. I've probably used this bag, I'm gonna say 10 times so far. And all I do is I put enough lentils in the bottom of my quart-size mason jar, just enough to cover it. And then we're just gonna put some water in here. Just enough water to give them a good cover. Swirl it together. I have some screen here that I have inside my lid to my mason jar. And what I'm gonna do is, we're gonna let these sit with the water on them for now. Later tonight, I will pour the water off of them, which is what the screen helps us to do. You pour the water off and then let them sit. No water on them, but they're wet from having the water. Tomorrow we'll add some more water, give them a swirl, dump the water out, and let them sit for 24 hours. So 4 days in a row, you will see that these will start sprouting, and I will include a photograph at the end as to what these look like. Easy project. Now, sourdough. I have tried sourdough a few times and I always end up killing my sourdough starter, but I'm gonna go ahead and give it a go again. So I have a quart mason jar here. I'm gonna add a cup of flour to this. I'm gonna pour it over the sink so I don't spill it. Or at least what I spill, it goes in the sink. And then to this, I'm going to add a cup of water. So I have equal parts flour and water. I have unbleached flour here. That's very important to use unbleached. I have a rubber or silicone spatula here. You could use a wooden spoon. You do not want to put metal in here. And I don't have a rubber band at the moment, so I am going to use my ring, but hopefully that's not going to touch anything in my jar. Oh, mix this up really good. It's almost like a paste consistency. And then I'm gonna cover mine with cheesecloth because you want the natural yeast in the air to feed this sourdough starter. And that natural yeast in the air will feed this, cause it to bubble up and activate, and that's what actually makes your bread rise, is the natural yeast in the air. So I have some cheesecloth here. We don't need a big piece of it. Ideally, you just use a rubber band to put it over here, but I don't have one. So I'm just gonna put that on there, and so that is how you start a sourdough starter. That easy, but keeping it alive was my problem. It's easy to get it going, but keeping it alive. All right, that's our projects today. So by day 3, I'm able to divide it into 2 jars. I've been feeding it a 1/2 cup of flour and a 1/2 cup of water a day. And instead of throwing away the discard, I actually moved it over to a 2nd jar. So this is where we are on day 3. And there's our little lentil sprouts on day 3 also. All right, so we're able to get 6 dinners preserved or prepared for the freezer. We have 5 to go in the freezer and 1 we're gonna have tonight. We got our sourdough started. We got our lentils sprouting for our chickens. And then we have all this garlic to go in the freezer. So thanks for hanging out with me today and keeping me company while we get all these kitchen projects done. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.